Okay. Hi, my name is Michael Ellis, and I'm going to share with you number one, a discovery, but also an invention based on that discovery of about Orgonite as a material, um, uh, and how to use it to meet a certain end, um, uh, electrically speaking, or pseudo electrically. More of a function of Orgonite based on its nature to perform to a certain end. Not full electricity from Orgonite, but useful heat actually is the main focus of it. And this I can actually measure with these little um, like at 75 degrees right next to it. That's way above the temperature in the house, which is set at 72 degrees, and it would obviously be a little less than that anywhere in the house. Um, Less or higher, maybe with 73 degrees at the most. And I think even further away, it's at 75.2 on one. This is 75.0. This is 75.4, but it's obviously a little messed up. I don't know what's wrong with that one. But the main idea is to get usable heat, out of Orgonite. And the thing is, Orgonite by itself is actually kind of interesting. It acts as a medium that interacts with the Earth's magnetic field, and I think that's where it's getting its energy from, not from dead Orgonite or dead orgone or chaotic energy like microwaves and TVs and stuff. While it does act as a ground for that, what it gets its main energy from is the Earth's magnetic field, and that's what gives it its pleasant feel. Is that it's relaying and amplifying that energy into like a Schumann frequency, um, that it's creating magnetically. It's interacting with the Earth's magnetic field, um, based on the Schumann resonance. Um, Not unlike what um, Nikola Tesla was working on with his towers, uh, tapping the Earth's magnetic field for energy. So the reason I think it does this is number one because it has a dielectric antenna feature in that it's a capacitor-like material, and by simply by sticking a metal object out of the ground or something for that matter, or out of a pool of water, one would naturally pick up if one moved a magnetic field through or past in waves or in like motion through or past a grounded um, metal of some type, it would naturally pick up electric energy. And I found this to actually be true when number one, Wilhelm Reich, he worked on that, and that was the basis of his cloudbuster, is that he affected the ionization of clouds with a grounded metal pipe of steel or like the modern cloudbusters use, or copper or et cetera, et cetera. So so that's how that works. But furthermore, um, the main thing that's important about, well, actually, what I discovered interestingly is that it does actually accumulate static electricity. As I had my cloudbuster, Orgonite cloudbuster in my basement, I held up one end of a LED and in my hand, and the other end touched it to the copper pipe on the Orgonite cloudbuster, the Orgonite cloudbuster pipe, and the LED lit up as a little impulse came out of the pipe into the LED, and there was like a small spark, and the LED lit up, and as I moved it around on the pipe, it would light up at various intervals. So that's one way of obtaining energy from piece of orgonite. So the main thing to take home is yes, there is a magnetic field that is all around us. Yes, orgonite can interact with that magnetic field by acting as a ground or a sink or as a opaque material to the Earth's magnetic field, meaning that it cuts the magnetic field that's flowing all around us. I mean, it comes from the sun. It interacts with the Earth. It's like a donut hole sort of shape. If you look at it through in textbooks, it looks like an upside down spider, and that's where the Native Americans got that idea about the. I think this is my theory, anyways, is that the Native Americans had that tradition about the Spider Woman being the shape of the magnetic field around the Earth, and hence dream catchers then being made by the Spider Woman. So basically, what this does, if you can see it really closely, it's basically BBs and resin with a metal kind of U hook, and then it comes out on two prongs, and that's just ground wire with the insulation stripped away. So it's just like a thick gauge wire, stiff wire, not stranded, but a solid wire with the insulation stripped away. That kind of makes contact with the BBs in there. You can do this out of aluminum too, or brass, or copper, or anything. It doesn't have to be BBs, but like I just use like regular, like, store-bought BBs, and it comes out of there. And I ran two 10 mega ohm resistors. As you can see by the colors there, it's blue and what is it? Or brown, black, blue. If you're in the electronics field, you know what that is. And the gold tolerance. But and just for fun, I put in some of this eye candy gold mica powder, and as required by any orgonite buffs, some blue kyanite. Shout out to Sensei Dennis, and crystal quartz. It's in there, and then some other special ingredients that I won't divulge. So it's a salt, or it's salt, as the quote goes in that Star Wars movie. So anyways, so that's what we're working with there, is just a conductor. Now, it works, and this emits heat. And the strange way it works is that you get a what Nikola Tesla referred to as a impulse or radiant energy effect, where out of your circuit comes. Oops, sorry, we froze. Okay, out of your circuit comes energy in like a radiative pattern. So when you attach anything to the circuit, and this is how his towers work too, how they accumulate energy, and the type of energy he was working with, basically the etheric energy. When you actually put that, hook it up to nature, the wheelwork of nature, Nikola Tesla talked about. Orgonite is how you hook into the wheelwork of nature. Just a little brick of it'll do. Like this little brick form of orgonite. I actually wrecked my mold when I took it apart. I mean, how pathetic is that? I actually ordered a new one. Because I made a bunch of them. But, I don't know how I wrecked my mold like that. Oh, it was stuck to the table because the resin got underneath it, so the mold was actually stuck down. Or onto the board or whatever it was. Small piece of orgonite hooks you up to the wheelwork of nature, like Nikola Tesla talked about. Then you get your radiant energy out. It's a DC impulse. If you hook up your oscilloscope, you can see the tiny impulses that are like down on the 100 millivolt range, are these little impulses that are like the lightning in the world getting picked up by that, and the waves of the magnetic field. So as you load on, like these other scientists have mentioned when they've worked with this type of energy, as you load up, you pull more energy into the circuit. So you don't even need to have a return on this. It can just be one wire coming out, and it works like a pump, like Nikola Tesla said in his drawing, like a mechanical pump, pulling the energy out, and in this case we use resistors to get heat. As you can see, it's like 74 degrees. 74.8 right here because the heat turned off, and I've got another one over there that says it's 75.2, a little bit further, 75.7. That one's a little messed up, I don't know why. Okay, and if you want to build these, by the way, use gloves. And the resin that I use, which I'm not going to pick up because it's sitting over there and it's pretty heavy, but it's East Coast resin. That's the stuff I get on Amazon. It's in here. It's here in a couple days. It's cheap. Otherwise, they recommend, in the Orgonite community, they recommend East Coast, or not East Coast, what was it? United or something? US Composites. Yeah, that's a good company to work with too. They have really good prices. And they have all kinds of resins. And there's like millions of other resin vendors out there. They're all getting on the train for the resin arts, as it's really picked up in the artistic community recently. Just all sorts of resin arts, like the geode coasters is another thing I do, and I make pyramids and stuff. But I'm really in it for the tech. That's the stuff that interests me. So just a little brick like this you can plug into the magnetic field, or you can build a giant cloud buster if you want, or just a little mini cloud buster and connect it to the copper pipes with a little ground clamp to feed the wire off of. And the bigger the better, as far as I'm concerned. It'll give you a nicer, smoother performance. If you have a big like 5-gallon bucket and you make that into like one piece of Orgonite with the pipes sticking out, that's like my main power cell for the house. I have that in the garage right now. I have to actually do some more research into that to actually figure out how to get electricity out of it. But right now we have heat, and that's all that matters right now in the winter anyways. So resistors. The resistors get the heat. I've also found you can use fluorescent tubes. So if you have any old fluorescent light bulb tubes and you have no use for them and they're just taking up space, you can actually clip alligator clips like this onto the ends of the fluorescent tube, just one or two ends, it doesn't matter, and clip them to one of these little devices, and you will get nice heat out of that. But I just use the resistors. They're easier, they're less trouble, and they won't break and contaminate your house. So it's safer. It's safe. It won't burn down your house, won't start a fire. You can like carry it in your pocket if you're going outside. It's just cheap, easy, free heat, and it won't cost you anything, and it maintains itself. It's free. It's free energy. Free heat, free energy. It's starting to cool down because I'm moving this around probably. Not so much. Oh yeah, a little bit. Okay, so anyways, yeah, it's down to 74. We're at 74.6. So keep moving it. So yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. Do you like the shirt, Electronic Geeks? What part of this don't you understand? The oscillator. Anyways, I thought I saw that on Facebook and had to get it. So anyways, that's where I'm at. So yeah, and this of course dovetails nicely with this because this is obviously the DC impulse that you get out of there, except it goes positive and negative. So yeah, you can hook this up and see it on a oscilloscope, but you'll have to zoom way in because it's just a little tiny signal. But it has the you can't see the high voltage that it actually is because it's not out of phase. It's in a closed phase. It's like a Whittaker's signal, or one of those silent or silent signals that are positive, negative at the same time, in phase, in the same phase, so they cancel each other out. But you do get the spikes, and my oscilloscope's too slow to detect that, except at the really low voltage. So that's the way I measure it, just by feel mostly. That's the best way measurement we've got is our senses. So as far as this stuff goes, anyways, the human body is made to feel magnetic fields. So and I mean your heart is a magnetic field, and your body puts out magnetic energy, and you can feel the energy of like crystals and stuff if you're a little in tune to that. I don't know, I'm a Virgo, so I'm naturally in tune to that stuff. So yeah. So I think that's about it. I'm starting to warm up again. 74. Oh, these little bugs. Where did they come in? Got these little bugs in the house. Probably when I brought dirt in for these plants. Okay, anyways, yeah, so I'm at 17 minutes, so I'm going to stop. Thanks for watching. This is Micah.